Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Gator Gang Network. I am your host, Bobby, and I am joined here with my co-hosts, Lucas and Darryl. How are you guys doing tonight?
Woo! Go Gators!
We're doing good. We can
uh,
clinch, we can clinch the East on Saturday with a W.
That's
yes,
right.
with the win, we can clinch the SEC East and be set our name in the SEC championship game December 19th. But before we get to December 19th, we got to talk about what just happened, and that was the Florida Kentucky matchup in the swamp at noon, which everybody don't like, but hey,
Hey, it is what it
um,
is.
It's
it is what
football.
it is.
It's Gator
Yeah,
football, so I don't care.
That's
it's
right.
Gator football, and it's a blessing to have Gator football with
They can
everything
play.
surrounding
They can play at
COVID.
midnight for crying out loud. I'll still watch the game.
Exactly. Any time of day or night. Anyways, Florida looked sloppy in the first half of that game. And we're going to get into all of that. And we're going to get into the defense as well. Um, but let's talk about the return of Kyle Pitts.
Woo! Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I can't just
Um,
say he's got more touch. He's got more touchdowns than any wide receiver / tight end in the country, and he only played 6 games.
That's right.
exactly. And he's only played 6 games. He is the best tight end Florida's ever had.
Yes.
Um, for a single season. Now, if you want to talk accolades of what you can do, I guess we would put him at number 2 behind Aaron Hernandez when you look at the tight end position.
Uh,
So, you're
I,
in
I don't mean to cut you off, but Dan Mullen has a better record than Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer combined.
exactly. That what is it? 34 games, best record. And we know what Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier delivered to the University of Florida.
Exactly.
I
So,
It's
mean,
Dan
coming.
Jesus Christ,
Mullen,
one of them even
you are
has his name on the
next.
damn
It's
stadium
coming.
now.
It's
It's
coming.
coming. It's coming. The
Florida's back.
recruiting, getting that win over Georgia puts the recruiting trail on a whole another level,
All,
and it puts
uh,
us in that top tier.
all I
Yes.
gotta say is December will be fun when it comes to recruiting. But
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Those of y'all who are watching, thank y'all for tuning in. Drop a comment. Let us know what y'all thought about the Florida versus Kentucky game. Florida winning 34-17 in the swamp. And hey, we had some football. And like I said, Florida didn't look good in the beginning. So let's talk about those early struggles in that game. Darryl, I'm going to start with you on this question. Um, what were you concerned about the offense in the first quarter?
I don't know. I think Kentucky was going to come play that football game. So, yeah, maybe a little bit concerned, but I mean, obviously we have really good players, and let's give Kentucky credit. People don't realize, but Kentucky does have one of the best passing defenses out of the SEC right now, and that may surprise some people, but they do. The passing wise, teams do not pass on them. So, and that's what we do is pass the ball. So it really didn't surprise me so much that maybe we struggled a little bit, but
and
we made
and
the plays when they need to.
and you gotta think about this. We have just came off the Georgia game, and then
Yep.
Felipe is coming to the swamp the next week. So
Yeah.
I kind of expected us to be a little sluggish these last 2 games.
Yeah. Look, Florida's a really good team, and they're going to play to their. I wish they wouldn't play to their competition, but they play to their competition for some reason. And not, Kentucky's a really good football program, but we were going to win that ball game,
Let's
and
be honest.
it just took some time.
Let's be honest. If you would have told me we would be 28-6 after the debacle of 17, I would have said you'd be lying after 34.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
Looking at what we were for after the Urban Meyer era, during the Will Muschamp and McElwain the whole saga of Florida not having an offense, but having a pretty
Hey,
hellified defense.
I gotta throw another stat out there. Florida has passed for over 300 yards 13 times under them since
yeah,
Tim Mullen has became
hey,
head
I'm
coach.
I'm gonna touch a little bit more on the offense too. As Florida fans, be patient, guys. We're not going to score 50 points every game. I mean, I know that people are so used to Steve Spurrier, and I know we've had some really great offensive games where we've scored 6 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. That ain't going to happen every game. All right? That
No,
just ain't going to happen.
no.
So pump the brakes, guys. Florida is a good football program. They can pass the ball. We have an offense that we haven't seen in years, but you're not going to go out there and dominate every game. So
No.
just because you get 3 touchdown passes and maybe a mediocre game doesn't mean anything. Florida still wins the football game, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Kyle Trask didn't throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He had a bad game. I'm like,
you're not going to have that. You're not going to have a great game every time. It just ain't going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Kyle Trask's his stats up on the screen. 2,810 yards, 34 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and as I have said, in a difficult year with a 10-game All SEC schedule like never before, and Kyle Trask has only got the 7 or 8 games that he was a starter in last year. And then to start all of this year, to actually know coming into the season, this I'm the starter. This is my team. I got to lead them. And for them to not have a spring and not have a fall camp, your typical fall camp, you're really kind of going into the season like everybody else. But the good thing about, coming into this season is, we lost 3 receivers, but that was about it for the offense. We basically had the same offense and the same coaches. So returning a lot of that, you return a lot of chemistry. So where you're not exactly opening up a new book and trying to learn it and learn it and get chemistry with the players and coaches and all that. We have that. So coming into the season, that was a great benefit to Florida. But for Kyle Trask, he's done exceptionally well. I would never have guessed that he'd have the season that he's having.
No.
I just wouldn't have thought it.
No, he's putting up
3 interceptions.
Real quick, I just gotta give credit to his parents because his parents have raised a really good young man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As we mentioned in the last episode that we talked about that. We mentioned how great his parents are for the character and the traits that he possesses, and that's going to take him farther in life than any football accolade that he could ever have.
When in 3 or 4 years from now, when Kyle wins the Heisman, well, he's going to win it this year, but I'm talking about in 3 or 4 years from now, we're going to watch 60 Minutes on the life of Kyle Trask. And I'm telling you guys, this is the kind of story that we're going to hear about for years to come. This kid is special. His parents are special, raised a wonderful kid. And that is a story that people are going to remember forever.
Exactly. I mean, to come from where he's come and
just give him the Heisman Trophy and put a 4th statue out there already.
Yep. I mean, I think he's got it. He's just got to keep winning, and he's right there, number 1.
Let me ask you this: What if we lose, but he puts up monster numbers against Denver? Do you think
it's not supposed to be about wins or losses? It's supposed to be about the best player in college football.
So think about this: 2007, we lost 3 games.
4
games. Tim Tebow was the Heisman Trophy. 4 games, but I'm
after
talking
the trophy.
I'm talking before the Heisman Trophy.
Before the Heisman Trophy,
it was 3 losses, and Tim Tebow was the first sophomore to ever win the Heisman.
Yep.
So Darryl, you make a great point. It's not about wins and losses; it's about what you have. But with that, in that same sentence of in that same breath of saying that, you got to think about the kind of program that Alabama has in the top tier that they have, and you're always going to have, even as a freshman coming in, you're always going to have that Heisman to your name for a watch list to look out for them.
There's always going to be 6 or 7.
So Lucas, to your point, I think that's a very good and valid question of if Kyle Trask outplays Jones in the SEC championship, but they lose. I would say Kyle would still win it if that game is close. If that game is close, I say Kyle still wins it. But I think it's a unanimous, win, or for Kyle Trask if they win the SEC championship. I don't think anybody's going to, without a doubt, everybody's going to mark, Kyle Trask on that ballot.
For sure. if he go in and beat number 1 Alabama in Atlanta, Kyle Trask will be the Heisman Trophy winner. You can mark my words.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if excuse me, even if Jones outperforms him, if they win the game, I
He
think
will win it. We will
Kyle
have a
win
new
it.
statue right next to Danny Werfel because he's getting lonely over there. He said.
Yeah, he's got room over there
You need
for
to run, buddy.
Plenty of room.
him.
Plenty of room over there, guys.
Plenty of room. But speaking of Danny Werfel, Kyle Trask needs 5 more passing touchdowns to pass his record. He's at 34 right now. Oh,
Another record of Danny Werfel's. He is the first Gator quarterback to ever throw 3 touchdowns in 8 straight games, breaking Werfel's record of 7 in 1996.
exactly.
This kid's special. There's no words that can say it, but he's just a special player. I mean, it's just one of those guys, man.
Let me repeat that again. He is the first Gator quarterback to throw 3 touchdowns in 8 straight games.
That's an awesome stat. That's awesome because looking at the powerhouses of quarterbacks that Florida has had, I mean, they're not all great, but we haven't had like some. I mean, Rex Grossman, for goodness sake, should have won the Heisman.
Yeah, probably.
The only reason he didn't is because of because the Tennessee game got moved and Ernest Graham was injured and
yeah. So there's some circumstances around why he didn't win, but that's another Heisman Trophy that that we could have had right there. But go ahead, Darryl. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that along those lines that the history that we've had at the University of Florida. Florida and I believe it's Auburn, or it's either Auburn or Alabama. I think it's Auburn. Florida and Auburn are the only SEC teams that have 3 Heisman winners. And so that gives you, even Alabama doesn't have all of that. With all the national championships they've won, they don't have the Heisman winning players like Florida or Auburn's had. So we've had players, we've had quarterbacks that have been the best. And for Kyle to be up there and do what he's doing, I mean, come on. This kid is special. He's so smart, and I'm pulling for him every way, man. If I could vote, I'd vote today for him.
Yeah, he's one outstanding as a man and as a player, and I got mad respect for him. Anybody who's not even a Gator fan should have respect for what Kyle Trask has been through and overcome.
After he broke his foot, he's like, I'm not gonna start, but he hung around and look at the way
he stuck around. I mean, this kid in this day and age, people transfer. They just transfer. They just want to go play football.
They want a chance to play.
And he never knew if he was ever going to start. He may not have if Franks wouldn't have got hurt. He may have not have had his opportunity, but he stayed and he stuck with it, and he's got his opportunity now, and it's phenomenal. I'm telling you, 66. There's going to be a 60 minutes on this in 3 or 4 years. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about that game a little more because here we are winding down to the first half of the game, and Kentucky's got to punt the ball, they tell the Kentucky punter to punt it to the left side or to the right side of the field. So when the ball is snapped and he kicks the ball, he don't kick it to where he's supposed to. You got Xavier Henderson over here acting like he's going to catch, and he sold it. You would have really thought he caught that imaginary football. And then here, Kadarius Toney on the other side of the field catches it and shakes 2 players, and the rest is history because he got the touchdown.
I was listening to Mick on my computer, and God darn him and I both lost it.
I can imagine Nick was going crazy.
Yeah. See, when I watch the game, I watch it on my TV, and I got Mick on my Alexa, and I was making sure she didn't hear me, and I have to rewind the TV to be synchronized with Mick. So that's exactly what I did. So I would get like a notification a play, like a scoring notification on my phone, like a play sooner than what I'm seeing it and hearing it. But I was okay with that because, I just love listening to Mick, call the games and
Yeah.
listening to it from that Gator perspective. And it brings you to a whole nother
I do
level.
that all the-
I love it.
I do that all the time. I do that all the time.
I never do that, but I think I might try it one day.
You definitely got to give it a try. I mean, it's definitely better than listen to some of them
Believe me,
commentators.
I got to meet the radio guys are
Well,
cool. One of
I,
them even
I,
let me.
well, I know the season isn't over, and we've had so many noon games. But one blessing that we can say we have had is we've had a noon game without Beth Mowens. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Thank you guys.
so
Thank you. I'm so glad I listened to Mick instead of watching the game on TV. Because
yeah, exactly, exactly right. So, that was a real big momentum shifter going into halftime. And then
by the
coming
way,
out of halftime, Florida looked a whole lot better and scored on the opening drive of the second half, which was exactly what we needed to keep the momentum going on Florida's side. And it just seemed once we got going, we really cranked it up on defense as well. And we're gonna speak on the defense too because I have a little bit to say about the defense. But going into that game, that first half to second half, it was a complete change on both sides of the ball. We really played really well in the second half. It just kind of looked like once Florida got the lead, Kentucky after that looked flatter than a Tom Brady football. So,
well, apparently,
oh man, I
hey,
just got that.
Look, don't be messing with Tom Brady. All right, okay. No, anyway, so apparently, arguing about Christmas lights and what they're going to do for Christmas helped out. Okay, whatever Christmas lights they were arguing about, whatever that you need to talk about Christmas lights more often, Dan Mullen, to Todd Grantham, because whatever you did, you go, man. You go.
Look,
they go 41 yards.
I don't think I needed to be a fly on the sideline to know what was going on in that conversation. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't about how much turkey he ate at Thanksgiving or when he's putting up his Christmas lights.
Hey,
but
that's what he said.
I know. That's why I'm laughing so hard because when I seen that and I heard that, I was like, typical Dan Mullen to be so sarcastic and so jokingly, and other people, other fan bases, they're gonna brag on and say, why would he say something like that? But it's hilarious. It really is.
Well, look, keep it up. Keep talking about your turkey and your Christmas lights.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know if you guys saw it, but this week, Saturday's game is a 3:30 game instead of a nooner. Thank God.
Yes, finally to have a 3:30 game and not a noon game. I believe we've had 5 of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of them.
So yeah, more than usual. The LSU game time has not been announced yet. I'm hoping that won't be a noon game.
I don't know what for sure, but I would assume it's the Monday after the Tennessee game.
Yeah. So when we look at the defense, in the first half, there's no sugarcoating it. In the first half, the Gator defense looked like a high school defense. We couldn't get set. We didn't have any leader on defense. There was just so much confusion going on. Players not knowing where they need to be, and I get it. It's a different year, but to know your lineup, and it's in Kentucky, and especially with Kentucky, because they just walked down the field and took so much time off the clock. They really milked the clock the whole entire game. So it's not like they were playing this fast tempo to where it's hard to get set on defense. Florida just couldn't get it together in the first half and know their role of what they need to do.
All right.
I don't know if that's on players. I don't know if that's on coaches. I'm going to say maybe it's a combination of both and not having the practice and the season that we are normally accustomed to having. But I think by now, knowing where you should be on the field is something that you should at least be able to do that to start out the play.
Yes. I mean, if nothing else, you ought to be set. And these guys weren't even getting set. And I think it is a combination of a couple things, but that right there tells me coaching is not getting the plays in there. So you got to get the plays in there, and you got to find that guy that's going to get you guys set. If you want to adjust after that, adjust after that. But you got to get on the freaking line, and you got to be ready.
Yeah, you got to get where you need to be. Lucas, I know you wanted to go on a little rant about the defense.
The defense played. I'm not gonna lie. They played shitty the first half, but after the sideline rant, they played much better.
Yeah, absolutely. It just looked like in the second half they knew where to be set. They knew how to tackle. They knew what zone they needed to be in. We looked like we got a little more press coverage. And we're like the one thing that I've been saying, and Darryl, you've been saying the same thing, is those first 5 yards, you can have some contact.
Yep.
Press them, get in them.
Got to get on, man.
You got to get, you don't let them get, that little cushion and get some speed and be able to make a move. This is the SEC, boys. There's a lot of speed, everywhere in the league. So
yes,
you got to bring your A game when you're, especially at the University of Florida, when you represent the DBU and you want to be DBU. You can't be giving up a 7-yard slant every play.
No, you got to push them around a little bit. And, you have the first 5 yards to give some bumps and to hand fight a little bit. After that, I mean, if you're not getting on them, they're going to run right by you, especially in the SEC. You get in these bigger teams, they're going to run right by you. You got to get on these guys.
I can tell you, we got some good defensive back recruits.
Yeah, they're there. The talent is really there.
No, I mean, not this year, but the year after that and the year after that, we got some good defensive back recruits because I'm buddies with them, so I talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really want to see Florida play a complete game, because if they can play like they did in the second half, the whole entire game, there's a lot of domination on the Florida side, and I'm really hoping that we see that in Tennessee this weekend. And Darryl, we were talking off air earlier today about what the weather was going to look like.
Yep.
When I looked at it, it was like 40, 50, 60% chance between Friday and Saturday, and it's going to be in the 40s. So weather's going to play a role in this game as well.
We have to run. I'll put it this way: if we don't run the ball, we don't win this game.
Yeah, this game scares me a little bit. I mean, it is Tennessee. I know they haven't had the greatest season, but they are a top-notch program, and they have a top-notch facility. And it is going to be a lot colder than what we're used to playing in. It might even be drizzling rain, and if it gets cold enough, it could even be some icy weather.
Let's pray to God for no snow.
Yeah. Let's hope we don't run into some bad weather. Hopefully it'll be good.
There's a possibility. It's been snowing up there last couple of days from my Tennessee buddy. And by the way, Rob, go Gators. We're going to beat Tennessee this weekend. But, it's going to be cold. It's going to be a different environment that we're not used to playing Tennessee in.
Yeah, usually we're playing Tennessee in September, whether it's in Gainesville or Knoxville in September. It's still some good weather.
The last time we played them in December was 2001, and we all know how that ended.
Yeah,
it didn't end so well. So we can't have a react of that.
That was by the way, guys. That was Steve Spurrier's last game in the swamp.
Mm-hmm. So we know what we got to do, and I believe that Dan Mullen and the coaching staff, they're going to have a good week of practice. They're going to get at it. That conversation before halftime of what Dan Mullen and Todd Grantham were talking about. I need y'all to do a little more of that during this week. So
Yes.
come game day Saturday at 3:30, when we kick off that pigskin, we know what we're ready to play.
Yep.
We know
Yep.
we're ready to play a complete game.
Yep. Talk about your
By
Thanksgiving
the way,
dinner and your
guys,
Christmas light.
by the way, guys, yours truly won the contest this past week.
Exactly. I'm gonna bring this comment up because I do like it. Scott Donaldson said, haha, Coach Mullen basically saying it's none of y'all's business what I was yelling at him about.
Exactly.
And that's absolutely right, because it
Exactly.
is none of our business.
Yep.
But you don't need to be a rocket scientist to read body language and to know that he was getting at him pretty good. He was all there. Todd Grantham just had to take it. And, there's one of two things that Todd Grantham can do. He can either not listen and not have a job at the end of the season, or he can tighten up and show Dan Mullen what kind of defense that he's really got. So, I mean, them are the two options, and I think he took the second one and, made it worth it.
Yeah, and Dan and Todd have been together for a while now. I mean, they've worked together for a while, so I'm sure they've had those conversations in the past, but they got to some of that being not set and not getting on the field. Some of that is coaching. I mean, I'm not going to put it all on the players, but they got to make sure they know where these guys need to be. I mean, even if you have to get a base defense, you have to be set. I mean, otherwise you go running around and guys run by you. So, got to be set.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing we got to do is our score predictions real quick.
Yeah, but I want to get to this. Has anybody heard anything about the jerseys? To see that we might be having a throwback jersey against Tennessee from the Spurrier era. I don't think we're gonna have a throwback jersey. We already did that one when we wore the blue helmets. That was our throwback week. So I think this weekend is just going to be your typical orange helmets, white tops, and hopefully we wear the white bottoms.
I don't know you guys, but I like the all-white jerseys.
I do like the all-white jerseys. And usually I would say no on the throwbacks, because usually they don't do throwbacks unless it's at home.
Yeah. And I like the all white. I like the orange helmet and the white tops and the white bottoms. Don't get me wrong, I love the white helmets as well. But I just something about that traditional orange helmet.
You know what I like? I like the white jersey, white helmet, white jersey, and blue pants.
Yeah, that's a good combination too. But Lucas, like you said, let's get into our score predictions. Lucas, since you wanted to get into it, I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go 40-10 because Tennessee's not very good.
Okay. Let me ask you: why do you think it's going to be that? Well, what's going to happen to get there?
I honestly think the second half is going to carry over into the whole game, and we're going to play lights out on defense, and we're going to pick right back up where we left off.
All right. Darryl, what you got for me?
I haven't really thought about it just yet, but I guess if you're going to throw it out there, let's see. I'm going to put us at like 41. I do think Tennessee's going to score. Of course, I mean, I thought Kentucky would score more, but I'm going to say 41-21.
41-21. All right. I'm going to go 38-13. I'm going to go 38-13. I just believe that Florida's offense is going to be rolling. Pitt's in the lineup for the second straight week. We see what he did in his first week back. It's a big momentum, builder for him. Tennessee's not very good on the back end. I believe we can attack their secondary.
They just lost the linebacker commit for next year's class.
Yeah, so they're losing. They lost that, but Florida, where we're going to be up in the recruiting, so we know where that's going. But I just believe that the defense, that conversation that they were talking about, those Christmas lights, I believe that carries into this game here, and the defense plays, like they did in that second half.
Yeah,
I believe we got to play a complete game. We have 2 games left of the season. Talking regular season before the SEC, and we've got to play a complete game. We have not yet played a complete game from beginning to end. And I'm not saying that we got to come out and score 14 points per quarter. I'm just saying move the ball, get it going down the field, quit having 3 and outs and putting your defense back on the field.
Yep.
I'm just saying let's have some pep.
Let's be honest. We have not had this a team or an offense like this in a long time.
The best way you help our defense is by having successful offensive drives. Sometimes we score too efficiently, and I feel like that may even hurt us on the defensive side. So you have to have sustainable drives to run the clock and keep our defense off the field. So that would help too if we can just make sure that we're doing that. And we weren't doing that in the Kentucky game. We weren't actually getting sustainable drives to help our defense.
Yeah, I believe. Okay, here's a question that I wanted to ask y'all a little bit earlier. And while we were on that topic, I didn't get to it. But that last drive at the end of the game when Emory Jones was quarterback and they were about to go in and they had the timeouts and they could have scored, do you think they should have, or do you think Dan Mullen made the right move?
I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to show Bama too much.
Yeah,
I'm not even saying that it's showing them too much. You already made it down there to the 3-yard line, and you got the time. I think that you give Emory Jones a shot right there, a chance in the red zone, and he wanted it. He was throwing his hands up.
He was mad.
He was mad that he didn't get that chance. And I'm not saying that it's running up the score. I'm saying it's getting your second team a shot and a chance to score right there in the red zone.
So
I'm glad they didn't score, because if they would have scored, I didn't know. I would have not won the contest this week. So I'm glad.
So to touch on that, Bobby, there really is 2 viewpoints on it, and my take on as a head coach, if I'm a coach, it's not about running up the score. It is about running your offense so that your team can be successful. Sometimes people think they're just running up the score, and maybe you do in a rivalry game just to piss people off. Urban Meyer's called all those timeouts there at the end of Georgia game a few years back because we were winning, and I get that, but in some games you're just trying to better yourself. So maybe you should have called a timeout and at least ran one more play. Some people say no, but I'm kind of mixed feelings about it. I think if I was a coach, I would have ran a play just to see what my offense could do.
Exactly. Scott has said, Spurrier always said, it's our job to score, and it's the defense job to stop us.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Exactly right.
Yep.
And I think that you put that on Kentucky's defense to stop you from getting into that end zone, because no matter how much time, if I got the timeouts and I got especially my second team on the field, I'm going to give them that score right there.
That opportunity.
Yeah, that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a teaching moment. It's the Gator standard. It's a teaching moment. I think you give them the opportunity to. But, the coach made the decision. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're 7-1 and about to win the Eastern. So I think Dan Mullen's doing something right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We can all agree we're better than what we were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and so on and so forth. You get the bigger picture.
Yep.
But in 3 years, we've done more than what we did from 2010 to 2017 before he got there. And that's in 3.5 years.
Can I add something real quick? I'm not gonna lie, Dan Mullen was my number 1 choice to get the job when Mac was fired, just because he knew the program, he knew what the expectations were, and he knew what the
he was the perfect fit for the job.
He was a perfect fit, and I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think of him. I mean, I knew he would be the perfect fit for the job once his name came up, and I heard, Dan Mullen. Of course, bring him back, definitely. But I just didn't think that, with him building up Mississippi State, and they were looking pretty good. He had just gotten rid of Dak Prescott, and he was going to groom another quarterback. I thought that what he had going with Mississippi State
I'm glad we didn't get
was pretty
Chip
good.
Kelly. I'm glad we got Chip Kelly instead of Dan Mullen instead of Chip Kelly because
Chip Kelly ain't doing very good.
Absolutely, we can all nod our head in agreement to that.
Yep.
But
you know how we finish this. If you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator bait.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Go ahead,
as we all know, is there anything that you guys want to drop before we get off here? Let me say that.
Go ahead, Lucas.
Go Gators, chomp chomp.
All right. As we always say before we get off here, if you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator bait.
Go Gators.